Hello.
Hello, can people hear me?
This is Anthony. I can hear you.
Yeah, this is Daphne. I can hear you. Can you hear me?
How are you doing, guys? Apologies for the slight delay there. So I can see that we've got quite a good number of people on the call. We've got Nick, we've got Martha, Isabel, 2 Isabels. So welcome everyone. Can you hear me all right?
Yes.
Loud and clear.
Yeah, that's marvellous. So welcome to the call. Now, for this call, this is our first call of 2018. The call is being recorded as usual. It's the what day is it today? It's been a long day. It's the 16th today, Tuesday, and we're starting the year in this kind of really exciting position that the fact that we've got to this position. We're starting after a year in 2017. We've got 71 MPs supporting, 7 MSPs now. We started really talking to the Scottish Parliament, and we've got a lot of MSPs very much interested in the AIDS agenda. And we've got this huge social media presence that, as anyone who's spoken to me on the phone recently knows, I'm always banging on about Twitter. We're getting new followers every week, which is just totally beyond the hopes that at least I had for that, which is just magic, and it's a really lovely position to be in that I frankly didn't, could have been so much less, and that's in large part possible because of the great things that you guys have done, the great work that you guys have done. Annette, I don't know if Annette is on the call this evening, but I just come away from a meeting, a very, very good meeting, which was really only made possible by the work of ambassadors. I mean, very, very interesting and exciting, the different things that are going on up in Manchester to do with the early years. And again, a lot of this, the work that you guys are doing makes this possible. The downside is that the more success we have, the more we're stretched. And a few of you, I think, Nick I spoke to relatively recently, and Alex as well. We're going to be more and more stretched because there's so much happening because of all the success. I spoke to Jude, new ambassador, yesterday, and said the same thing. And she said to me that she's already had a screening of resilience in her area with Jackie.
Hello.
You don't have Jackie? Hello?
Hi, it's Antula. For some reason, I set this up a long time ago, but my laptop decided not to let me talk. So I've got you on a phone. But can you see me? I'm showing my screen.
Yeah, we can see you. Hello?
I can see you, Antula.
Hi.
I can as well, Antula.
Hi. I can't see any of you, though.
Yeah, where are people? I've got an excuse, which is that I'm on the train. But where is everyone? What are you all camera shy for?
I'm just lurking quietly.
I've just got her.
Hello, sir.
Anthony, I could see Anthony,
yes,
and I could see
that's more like it.
Isabel.
Hi, Isabel.
Hi.
I just realised I didn't put the webcam on. Sorry.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? I'll give it a go.
For some peculiar reason, my laptop decided to switch the access code completely, so I had to dial out and dial back in. So I'm sorry it looks like I'm late, but I was there very early. Hello. So I've got a completely different access code, and it sent me off in another direction for some reason.
And I don't know if it's just me, but you're very quiet.
I'm quiet.
Can
you not
anybody
hear
else?
me? Is that better? That's the loudest
Can
I can go.
anyone else not hear Antula very loudly?
I can hear her all right.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, great. Well, that's good. That's good. Look, I'll crack on. So, yeah, the success that we've had this last year, we've now got all these projects on the go, all these plates spinning, and one of the new developments, as you know, is that we don't have infinite funds, and we are not able to at present expand the team at the rate that we would love to if we're to keep doing everything and keep all the plates spinning. And so one of the things that this call is about, in fact the main thing, is how to go into 2018 all guns blazing, but also how to do it so that actually you might be getting a little bit less from us in terms of the direct time on the phone, or it's to different areas, or the kind of engagement where it's often really, really enjoyable and exciting, but quite time consuming, particularly as the network grows and as we're getting some amazing people in places like Orkney, which, I mean, trust me, I'd love to go to Orkney, but it's a long way. So what I want to do is I want to just lay this out to you guys. I promise I'll shut up in a minute. I want to just lay this out in terms of a proposition of what you want from us this coming year, and what you want to achieve in yourselves as part of this thing, as part of the network. And I thought the other day, well, it's 2017 to 2018, and we've had a year, and the target is 70-30, and there's this kind of amazing goal. Does 2017 to 18 actually represent the kind of progress towards that goal that we can dream of? And I think in a way it does, because we've created, us all together, this real living, breathing network. We've seen conferences in Reading, in Sheffield, we've seen screenings in Staffordshire, in Scotland, we've seen over 70 MPs get on board, 7 and counting MSPs, and bear in mind, by the way, we only wrote a couple of weeks ago. And this very, very fast progress is just amazing. So the proposition is this: how can we keep up the progress? How can we really make the best of all of this, make the best of all these new contacts, these new endorsers, and do it with almost less from us? And I know it's a tough ask. So here we are. This is the start of 2018. We want to do more with less. We are currently, as I say, stretched in terms of not having the funds to grow the team as much as we would love to, ideally, to accommodate the growth in the campaign. So the first question, I've got 3 questions, and I'm going to open this up to the floor and spend a good bit of time on this. First question I ask: what is the most important thing for you guys in this coming year? My second question is, what have you been doing so far in your area? Particularly what works, I'm interested in. What have you been doing that you think, yeah, that's gone quite well? And the third thing I'd say is, what do you see as your personal goals insofar as the 70-30 campaign goes for the next year? So I want to shut up now and hand over to you guys, and just see what people come up with, see what's important for you guys from us and from you. Open to the floor.
Okay.
Great.
Hi, Sam.
Great set of. Anthony, how you doing? Happy New Year, sir.
Yeah, likewise to everyone on the call. I think I just wanted to just get on the call first of all, and then just kind of almost generate in the moment, because that is my main goal, is to no, it sounds like a bit of a cliche, but it's really just to try and put one foot in front of the other, because I'm not on the pitch, and it's not just Wade, it's universal with me. So I'm just sort of acknowledging that really, and just trying to recreate action. Start almost emotionally starting again.
So what does that look like? I mean, maybe it'd be useful actually for everyone if I put this in a slightly different way as well. What are the kind of key goals that maybe that's a key thing that someone might do, Isabel might do, Daphne might do, that someone could pick up, that's one of the key, for example, I'll give you an example. I was speaking to Jude yesterday. Jude is, as I say, joined the network just 2 months ago, working with Jackie and she's full on. She's really, really, passionate. She's had a screening of resilience for me. So I would say one thing for me, one key kind of thing that we do is hold a screening of resilience.
I can't quite hear you anymore.
You've disappeared.
Yeah, you disappeared.
Is that Mick on the call, Michael?
Yeah, I'm here, Mick. Anthony.
Mick, Anthony. Happy New Year.
It really is. I'm just dismissing. Yes, please. I think that's a sort of single action. And another thing that that Jude did was, she said, subsequent to that, she set up a Facebook group for her area, and that could be another set up a social media presence group, club, whatever it is these days. So Anthony, back to you. In those kind of terms of a particular area of the campaign that you'd like to put one foot forward, where are you at with that? What do you think? Oh God, I'd love it if in 4 months. What would it be? These are 2018 goals. What would you think?
First of all, Sam, you disappeared for 90% of that conversation. I only caught the last couple of sentences. I don't know. Is that the same with everyone else?
Yeah.
Yeah, we lost you.
Yeah, you completely went. So we just caught literally a one-liner. So I kind of missed your motivation.
Sorry, Anthony, I apologise for that. Am I clear now?
No, not really.
It's kind of issue. It's not like you're having a wee or something at the moment. I don't know if it's you or someone else.
It definitely sounds like that. Yeah.
Sam?
So I'm here. I can hear you, but can you hear me all right?
It's hit and miss. It sounds hit and miss.
Okay, I'm going to be very brief and give it another shot. I said one really great example of what Jude had done in a call with her is a screening of resilience. And I think that screening that film is a really great single action that might be a really good example of a goal I want to achieve in 2018. So back to you, in terms of when you say foot in front of the other. Yeah, fine.
Well, you mentioned the film Resilience and screening the film. My understanding was that there was a cost implication to that.
Yeah.
Hi, is that Lydia?
Yes, it is.
Hi, Lydia.
Is there a cost implication to that, to screening it?
We'll let you have the details later on, but there's a way to screen it if you get a certain number of people where the cost is either zero or very low. Right. There's a particular way to do it, which
would you be able to give me some details of that separately rather than take up time?
Of course.
I think that's a good point, Lydia. I think that's a good point. If anybody does want to screen it and is looking for details, get in touch with us. Do get in touch.
Sam, would you be kind enough just to go over the details again? I had to miss the December call, and I don't recall having previously heard of the film Resilience.
Hi, that's Andy.
That's right.
Hi, Andy. It's Antula.
Hi.
Yes, Sam. The film Resilience is a film that's been made by the son of Robert Redford, the actor. His name's James Redford. And it's about adverse childhood experiences. It's a brilliant film. It's 1 hour long, and it really makes people sit up and take notice. We're finding that even showing 10 minutes, the first 10 minutes of it to very busy MPs, really sort of has a big impact. There's a way you can, if you get enough numbers together in a particular area, you can screen it for very low cost. And we know that it's taken the UK by storm. In fact, a huge number of people in Scotland have seen it, and we're talking about some senior people, so they're taking it very seriously there. You know, we're about to set up an EPPG. Well, one of the first things they're saying is we need to be put in the know about what it is we're supposed to be going out and promoting to our parties, and this is one of the things that we're going to be showing them. It's incredible. There is a slight preference in it to looking at after the event, you know, whereabouts prevention before it happens. It's brilliant, but we are saying to people, you know, prevention, ACE prevention, what we're doing in Northern Ireland is much better. So you do need both, because you need to obviously handle situations where the ACEs, the experiences of children which are adverse, have already happened. Anyway, so it's a wonderful film. It's really great. It opens up opportunities and conversations, and we thoroughly recommend that everyone should see it.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's right. So taking the screening of that film to be one goal, what I'm keen to build on this, and I'm keen to build on other goals that people have. So who else would like to throw something in there in terms of kind of key goals that you might work towards in 2018 that we as individuals might be working towards?
Hi. One of the things that I've noticed at university is a lot of people are looking for volunteer experience. So I'm hoping to get a few more ambassadors on board through that and getting the message out there, and therefore expanding the network, really.
Right.
That's a really great shout as well. And also, you know, if there are people near us, you know, we could, you know, always be happy to have help in the office as well. I think universities is a really good comment I hadn't thought of. The floor is open, people.
Oh, right. Okay. I think for me, I'm going to make some requests, maybe off Mick, and recontact Michael about creating an accountability partner, because I'm very poor at generating self-motivation and keeping it going. I get easily distracted and consumed, and the harder I try, it seems to have the adverse effect. So that would be my first port of call, just to pick up some sort of momentum and just turn the slightest little thing into an action, because I've just completely turned off the car, hid the keys, and is just drifting. So that's it, I think, for me. So then I can just literally start putting pen to paper and then aim to get myself back in front of people.
Hi, Anthony. It's Alex.
I think.
Oh, I'm coming to the top of you there. Sorry, hi, Anthony. Just so you're aware, those letters to the MPs in your neighbouring constituencies have been sent, in case they come back to you.
Alex, I'm going to stop you there, just because that's kind of, you know, one-to-one stuff rather than.
Sure, okay, yeah.
You want to come in, Mick?
Yeah, thanks, Alex. Yeah.
Sure, no problem.
Yeah.
If Mick wants to come in, that's.
Sorry.
I'll just make a brief point, which is that I think, Anthony, all power to you saying it's great that, partnering up with people, teaming up and sharing the fact that, your feet are dragging through the mud sometimes, it certainly feels like for me. That is a very, very good and serious and effective goal, because if you're identifying that you're not getting off the starting block with something, then the easy thing is to do is on it, and the hard thing to do is partner up with someone, get it out in the open, and that's a really good personal goal that I just think, I think that's a really great goal. But sorry, Mick, back to you. You were going to say something.
I was just going to come back on that particular request that Anthony made, and said, and say that I would gladly be an accountability partner, and to find a convenient time to meet up soon. We can carry this one off offline, Anthony. So I'll give you a call or an email or something in the next day or so. But I just wanted to come back on that one in the first place.
No, brilliant. Okay, it could be something as simple as that, because I'm not very good at multitasking. So once I get consumed in something, my time and energy and so forth becomes a little bit blinkered. So a little shunt is quite often all that I need. So Mick, very grateful.
I think, guys, that's a really robust action, which is identify places where you're not having the effectiveness you want, engage with each other, buddy up with someone, and again, really what I was saying before, we're not going to have the capacity to do quite as much in terms of one-to-one engagement. So the more you guys are teaming up, that's real help to us as well, because that means that things are happening and you're driving things forward, and that kind of partnership, it's a theme I'll come back to on this call, that kind of partnership is just where we need to be at from my point of view. Thanks, guys. Who else wants to kind of jump in there with something?
Sam, could I just make a request? We've got two people on mobiles, and I don't know who they are from our records. One is probably Alex, because usually Alex comes on the mobile. Who's the other one? Whoever you are, caller, could you just let us know so we can acknowledge you?
Caller 02, Anthony, I think it's you.
No, is that me? Because of my problem. Okay, all right. Okay, so I was just trying to find out if Amanda was with us, because she's bringing on her local MP. So I just wanted to acknowledge her, but she's obviously not on the call. Okay, so it's me and Alex then. Right. Sure. Fire away. Carry on.
Well, something Amdullah said there was local MP, and that's an obvious one. So would anyone like to jump in with the MP stuff?
I can jump in here if you want.
So Alex, in terms of kind of goal, in terms of goal for people, this is something that that anyone can pick up, that you can pick up, Anthony. What would you see as a 2018 goal for MP? What would it look like?
It looked like where we have a House of Commons majority. That's what I'm aiming for this year.
Well, I'm talking about a personal goal. So it might be.
Oh well, you know what my personal goal is. I would very much like to get my own local MP on board, which isn't going to happen, but it's a nice ambition.
So when you've engaged your MP,
yes.
I think this is a conversation which sometimes where I'm not very good at just flying the flag for.
Sure.
A relationship is an ongoing thing. People don't have a sort of first and say, well, I'm happily married now. A relationship with your politician is an ongoing thing, and a goal might be, what would you say, Alex? Something around what that relationship looks like, how engaged you are, that they know you exist. What do you think?
I would like my member of parliament to actually start taking this stuff seriously, rather than just sort of flapping his hands and saying, go away, I've met you and I'm not interested and I'm not going to change my mind.
I don't know if I can come in on this one. to come up with an idea there, Anthony. This last week, I was tired by the suggestion that we're going to deal with these acid attack problems by limiting the accessibility of corrosive substances to under 18s. It's not going to work. It's pointless. And so I wrote to our MP, and I'm in the same situation as you. Our local MP doesn't want to know. And I wrote to him and pointed out, look, deal with the causes, don't deal with the symptoms. Don't say you're going to control the supply. That's not going to work. And I'm certainly throughout this coming year, I'm going to be looking for similar opportunities. When there's something in the news, particularly when it's the governing party coming up with an initiative, to do something like limiting the access to corrosive substances, which isn't going to have any effect, that I reckon is a good time to jump on the email and to get emails off to people who might be in a decision-making position to say, there's a better way than treating the symptom. We've got a proposal for trying to deal with the cause of this problem.
I know, it's quite ironic. I've been round, I've done kind of the world tour of Hampshire, and with that exception, almost all of them have said, yes, we like this, we're in favour of it, we will put our names to it. But my own MP seems to be a bit of a sore thumb in that regard.
So, guys, we're onto something here, and Andy, I think
I would agree with. Sorry, I'm interrupting you, Sam. I would agree with what Andy Saunders has just said. I take my MP is not how can I put it, very effective. And
can I ask who that is, if you don't mind me saying so?
It's Adam Alfrier.
I know the name. So yes. I don't know anything about him.
He's MP for Windsor, so he's a neighbour to Theresa May in terms of constituency. But I take every opportunity to write to him. You know, if there's something in the media or in the news that is topical, that has relevance to prevention in terms of the 70-30 campaign and so on. I do exactly what Andy Saunders does, and I now got to the point where in his replies, which come about 2 months after my letter or email, he does actually acknowledge that he does remember me, so I'm getting somewhere with him.
That's
sure. Mine won't even respond to my letters.
Well, it's taken me a while, and I have to say I'm getting on for 2 years now before he's actually responded to me. And he doesn't hold surgeries, so I've never actually met him in the constituency, but I did lobby him once when I was at the House of Commons.
So, guys, I think that it might be, if I can suggest, I think you're all kind of building towards not just having a good meeting. That's not what we're driving at, or what you guys are driving at, but sort of keeping your MP informed, if possible, endorsing, but certainly kept engaged. Is that a fair reflection of, if this is a kind of goal, a personal goal for 2018, I'm going to do X? Is it that? Is it kind of that
yes, I think
ongoing?
It's a question of being an irritating person, because then they will start to recognise that what you're saying has got some validity if they're not immediately engaged. I think you've got to keep the drip going and not give up.
And I think that's a really good goal. I mean, be an irritating person. My goal of 2018, I achieved that years ago, Lydia, personally. So I don't need to work on being irritating. But I think that kind of, more than just have a meeting. Positive, empowering. That as you say, even if he's not that kind of keen, if someone says to him, have you heard of 70-30, he'll probably say yes. Or have you heard of adverse childhood experience? Probably say yes. That's a heck of a goal, to keep your MP in the loop, basically.
May I say something, Sam?
We've got three. Oh, Anthula, sorry, you.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, it really is about keeping 70-30 on the radar. And as we grow our MP numbers, it gets easier. Don't forget, we've got 71, and that's not bad. not bad at all. And Andy and Janice and Lydia are right, because if you keep at it and they see that the campaign is growing, eventually they'll have to jump onto the bandwagon, because their parties will, in time, take it seriously in the way that mental health is now taken seriously and is being debated and so on. Nelson Mandela had a fantastic quote, which I've really got to give you now. It goes like this: "Do not judge me by my successes. Judge me by how many times I fell down and got back up again."
Yep. I would agree with that one.
So if I can just, now that I've given you guys the negative, I'll give you also the positive as well. Myself and George have managed to arrange a meeting with the deputy leader of the SNP for next Thursday. It's a lady by the name of Kirsty Blackman. And in terms of the SNP in regards to their manifestation as a Westminster party, because obviously it's a devolved issue in Scotland and there are two separate parliaments, she's actually second in command of that particular manifestation. So she is happy to put her name to it. That will bring so many MPs with her. So that's the positive.
Yeah, and that is such a coup, Alex. That was such a coup on your behalf, guys. I want to push it forward a little bit, and I just keep the suggestions coming. So we've got 3 great suggestions there. One is a screening of resilience, which I'll admit have slightly nudged people towards. Another is the not just meeting an MP, but really, my apologies for that announcement, but really keeping it in the loop. And the third from Isabel is this kind of, universities are such a low-hanging fruit in terms of people who want to change the world and get involved. What else do you guys see as parts of our kind of personal goals for 2018, things that we want to achieve? What other ideas are floating out there?
Well, another thing that you were saying at the beginning, there's obviously a lack of funds for growing the team, etc. And possibly small goals would be beginning to do some small fundraising events, then possibly build up to more. And start that kind of work, because I know that hopefully all the information for that will be up on the website not too far in the future.
I couldn't agree more. I mean, what do people think? One thing I recently managed to do is cajole one of my colleagues in the office into putting in I think it's a Santander grant application. But there are all sorts of bits and pieces. Do people feel like, I mean, from my point of view, I absolutely sold. Do other people feel like, yeah, one of the things I might do is... The floor is open.
I think we might have missed a bit of your comment because it all went silent for a while.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm really sorry, Lydia. It's me being on transport. I apologise to you all. I think Isabel's comment about fundraising is a really good comment, and actually, from my point of view, it'd be a real help, because I know that with more funds, we can simply do more. We can quite literally spend more hours, which means getting more people on board. Is that something that many people have factored in 2018? Something of a fundraising nature? Is that a goal that is in people's minds?
Speaking personally, it's not something I want to get involved with. Because I'm involved with another charity as a trustee, and it would be compromise that.
Yeah, I mean, the great thing about these goals is they don't necessarily, they're not universal, and for some will apply, and for others will apply. So that's a fair cop. Look, I think that's a really good goal, and I want to keep it in. Obviously, if no one picks it up, then that's that. One thing that I'm really hoping to do in this coming year is the charity walk for Peace that we did last year. I did it with Michael. I don't know if Michael's on the call. He was brilliant. We all loved it. Raised a very good amount of money for very, very, very little work. Almost £2,000. Whether it's about the fundraising or any other suggestions, I'm very keen to get other people on the call, because I know there's a load of great people on the call, and I'm sure my sound quality is very annoying. So if someone else could speak, that'd be great.
Sam, Mick, can I come in here?
Go for it, Mick.
Yeah, it's on the fundraising point, and I agree. I'd be, you know, fully behind that in this location to raise awareness and goodwill and so forth. There's a bit of a distinction to be made, I think, between fundraising for core funding to support the wave element of this, or to raise funding to deliver services. And I'm looking here at the 1001 Critical Days Manifesto, and there's a lot that the professionals and childminders and children's centres and commissioners, etc., can be getting on with. But actually, you have to look quite a long way down to find out what the volunteer community can do. And I just want to read the second to last bullet point here. It says outreach and volunteer services will potentially provide the greatest success in reaching the most vulnerable and isolated families. And what I want to introduce or reintroduce here, because presumably you've spoken about it at some point, is the idea of actually engaging communities in their role as acting as the neighbour, the extended family of those with the need, because it's a long way from being in an abusive family to engaging professional services. It's probably going to be time limited. There might be criteria. That service might not be available in your location.
I think just take time. I think you're really, and it's kind of like a community event side of things, isn't it? That as there's an awareness raising element, and as a community, fair to say.
Yeah, I think there's a service delivery element in it, or it should be. There's a lot of value that the voluntary sector can uniquely add, and that's not something I see a lot of in the whole narrative, you know, or the outputs, the various reports and so forth.
So how would that look as a sort of personal goal that you or I or Isabel or Alex might pick up and say, actually, one of the things I want to achieve in 2018 is it an event? Is it a social media thing? Is it a coffee with a coffee group?
That's a good question, and my answer to that would be, well, firstly, I'll say that I I attended the Children's Social Services team meeting yesterday morning. That was quite daunting, being in front of 25 social workers first thing of a Monday, but it was a very interesting conversation, actually. And what they're saying is that, yeah, okay, what's new? We're supposed to be doing this ourselves. What can you add? And what I think can be added, and this is the personal goal element, is to do an audit, as it were, a needs and a gap analysis, identifying numbers of families at risk, for example, and where their needs aren't being met, and seek to plug those gaps with by designing services and activities.
I think I've got it. So it's, yeah, there's some very bold ideas here. I think one of them is broadly awareness raising, but then you're also talking about really getting, it's more of a kind of practitioner thing, getting under the bonnet and saying, this is missing, getting an acknowledgement of the real lay of the land. It's a very interesting one, and thank you very much. We've got only, I think we're almost going to have to move on. Thank you very much. I want to just throw one more, perhaps 2 comments into this mix. I think there's some really great things there that people can do. I think another thing is that if people do feel they have the capacity to support us in the office, there is certainly more of an opening. I know that various people have come in for 1 day a week for periods of time and just been amazing, and meant that we could do more than we could otherwise do, and that sort of support will be very valuable in the coming months. The other thing is social media. I think it may have been mentioned earlier, but I'll just give it another mention: social media. So I'm now going to pass you guys over to Anthula, who's going to talk about, going to sum up what we've got to here, and move on from there. Anthula.
Yes, hello. Hi. Right, so we're starting 2018 feeling very excited because, as I said earlier, we've got 71 MPs where we had planned for 50 by December. And so as more MPs join, it does actually get easier because what you see is that people will notice that other colleagues in their parties are joining, and therefore, hey, that's great. Or we're talking to an MP who recommends try X, Y, and Z, and they give us the other people to contact. The fact of the matter is, we have got a fantastic year ahead of us. We do need to work hard at it. But in terms of numbers, let me just tell you what we've got. We've got, of the 71 MPs in Westminster, we've got 8 Lib Dems, 2 SNP, 1 DUP, 38 Labour, 21 Conservative, and 1 Green. We've also got in Scotland 7 MSPs, and we've only just started with the MSPs in Scotland. So you can see the numbers are steadily growing. And what we're about to do shortly is to set up an all-party parliamentary group in Westminster. We've got the 2 lead MPs have agreed, and they're working with us, and that should be set up next month. We want to do the same for Scotland when we've got a few more MSPs in Scotland, because this is one of the key ways in which we're going to make some real big progress. So how it works is that APPGs, parliamentary groups, generally are talk shops. We're not into talking. We want action. We want action in the houses of the government, House of Commons, and in Holyrood. We want MPs to be really pushing for prevention to become a real big policy debate and issue, and we want it to go into the manifestos for the parties, all the parties. This is not for one party, this is cross-party. We want to get the message out there that, you know, mental health, yes, we're talking about that, but this is a bigger issue because it covers mental health. If we do prevention, we handle a lot of the mental health issues, but we handle other issues too. So it's an exciting time ahead of us. Carry on with your work with the MPs that have already endorsed. It means, as Sam said earlier, creating an ongoing relationship with them, keep them fired up, keep them on the radar, keep them informed of what's going on, and in time they'll be bringing more of their colleagues on board. So that's the first thing. We've got to keep the momentum going with the friendlies and the not so friendlies, because the not so friendlies will come on board sooner or later, the majority of them. So that's the first thing.
Anthula,
yes.
What would you say in terms of? I think we discussed this briefly, but in terms of the different goals, you know, we've got this MP and we've got this drive to engage MPs, and we've got these other goals that have been discussed. How do these in stone? How do we want?
Sorry, I lost you. I didn't hear that.
So in terms of actually letting us know, in terms of people letting us know what their own personal goals are. I mean, I'd hope everyone on this call, everyone in the network will create some personal goals and say, this is what I want to achieve this year. What about that?
Well, I suggest people just email me or you and just tell us what their goals are, and we can we can be there to advise, because as Anthony said, it's much easier to clap with two hands than with just one. People do need a little bit of encouragement.
Tweet, for example, and share it.
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
You know, on Facebook and yeah, absolutely. I think that the more, I want to hear from everyone. Share online, share in social media channels.
Absolutely, absolutely. Share like there's no tomorrow.
Not just in the closed group. Yeah, not just in the closed group. Share it publicly, because the more you say sort of out loud, I'm going to do this thing. I'm going to do a fundraising event, or I'm going to approach my local uni, or I'm going to I'm going to sit down with some practitioners that I know. It becomes real.
You're absolutely right, Sam. The whole ethos of this campaign is that all you wonderful ambassadors that are active can be 30 times more effective if the 20, 30 people in your lives, everyone you know, starts to just sort of say, yes, I'll do something. And it doesn't have to be an awful lot. Let me give you an example. If you've got your MP who's heard about 70/30 and is on board or not really on board, or says they have endorsed but haven't really done a thing, the way to make them really take notice and pay attention and keep it on the radar and maybe get others in their party interested is for instance, getting a whole bunch of your friends, relatives, neighbours and work colleagues to all email these MPs as well as emailing on social media. Because if an MP gets hundreds of emails and thousands of tweets, or even a couple of hundred tweets or 200 emails, if they get a volume of something, then they know their local community, their constituents, the people that will vote them in or out next election, care about a particular issue. So if they get 600 emails and 1,000 tweets about the local swimming pool's opening hours, do you know what? They might do something about it. But if they get 2 emails and 1 tweet about 70/30, and they've met one lone person and they've said yes to make them go away, they're not really going to do very much about it. So you can, by getting everyone in your community that you know to do emails to the MPs, just blitz them. So that shouldn't take an awful lot of time, but it could be very effective. So that's that one. Right, let me give you some key announcements.
Partnership.
Yeah.
Just before we go to the key announcement, did you want to say a word about partnership?
Yes. Well, I sort of hinted at that when I said, let us know what your goals are, because if we work together as partners, we can make things happen much more effectively. So don't feel that you're alone. Obviously, we aren't a big team, and so we do want to have 2 hands clapping rather than 1 or 1.5. So we do need your help to keep things on the road. And I'll give you an analogy. In, for instance, Northern Ireland, when we've begun the ACE Prevention Pioneer Project, we have created 2 particular bodies that are going to run the show and keep the show on the road. And one is a partnership board, and it's got lots of different people on it, because one person on their own can't make this happen. Wave can't go in and say X and people will do it. It doesn't work that way. We all have to work in partnership if we're going to make things happen. So you each have chosen to do something amazing and long-term, and it's not easy, but you've taken it on nonetheless. And so let's work together as partners to make a really great 2018, get things moving further along the road towards 70/30. It is a long vision, but you know, every week, every month, we're seeing new things happen, exciting things happen. I didn't want to bombard you with it, but there is a lot going on, and you're contributing to that, and it is making a difference. And you may not see a lot of it, but in the background, we're seeing MPs sit up and take notice. I'll give you an example, another example. Quite some time ago, Sarah and I went to Reading. Linda got some councillors and some local people in Reading together. And two of the councillors there didn't really show much interest, and my emails after the event were ignored. One of them has become an MP. And Amanda Walsh wrote to him, and he has now decided to support 70/30. So you see, a seed is planted, and then it might grow a little bit later. So I thought, he's ignored all my emails, he's not interested. He became an MP. Oh, 70/30, yes, okay, I'll support that. So every little thing that we do could have an impact that we don't know yet.
And if I can just speak, if I can just come over the top, it's Alex speaking. This is why Sam and I have been spending so much time identifying the easy wins, because if you get the easy wins on board, obviously you're not the first line down. The sheer momentum then carries into the, oh, we're not so sure, but this looks like it's going somewhere, so we'll get involved. And then obviously you've got the third line of MPs who then see, well, this appears to be moving in a certain direction. Once you get the easy wins, you create momentum, and then the not so sures become sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's an interesting one. And Thula, I know you need to go to the announcements in a sec, but actually, Alex, I'd add to that. In terms of easy wins as well, you know, it may be that your first goal is something to build you up. And, you know, I think of what Anthony was saying. One of my personal goals for this year, I don't mind admitting, is to become more efficient in the way I get things done. Because this stretching we were talking about in terms of not being able to quite provide the engagement we have, it also means that, frankly, you know, we have to do more with less. So, you know, that's one of my first personal goals is to just become in my working, you know, in things like, you know, choosing what to do and how to engage with things and the time it takes to go, you know, the mundane stuff. You know, reading a very good book which I recommend called The Effective Executive, things like that. That's one of my goals. And I know it's not directly related, but it's me saying, you know, what am I aiming at in this next 12 months that's going to make a difference towards this big goal? But sorry, Anthula, back to you for the announcements.
Right.
Can I jump in, please? Can I jump in and ask who the two lead MPs are for the APPG?
The Labour one is Dr. Paul Williams, who knows of our work and is a great supporter and has been for some time. And the other one is Alex Burkhardt, who is a Conservative and who's been working at high level in the Conservative Party. They're the two main ones, but there will be others, which we're enrolling at the moment.
It's a really good question. And can I just add to that? These are two extraordinary people. I'm just flicking through my workbook here to see if I got the notes. They both have CVs a mile long in terms of the things they've done towards supporting children in early years. And Dr. Paul Williams, you know, he's a GP. He's practiced in the UK and abroad. He's done school readiness work. He's extremely well versed in this stuff. And Alex Burkhardt, you know, he's worked for Shadow Education. He's written a book called on the early years. He's advised the Children's Commissioner. He's worked at Central Social Justice. These are two extraordinary people, really, really powerful, motivated people, and we're so lucky to have them on our side.
Yeah, that's right. Okay. Right, the announcements. Firstly, our lovely Sarah is now working from Scotland. So she's still with us, but working from Scotland. Secondly, the short film contest, you're all itching to know. It will be announced tomorrow, so look out for it. The winners will be announced tomorrow. And thirdly, the next call would take place on the 6th of February, same time. Okay? Thank you all very much for joining us tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Cheers, guys. Good evening. Speak to you all soon.
Bye.
Good luck. Good luck. You know, speak to you soon.
Cheers.